Comfort is one of the most deceptive traps in life. It feels safe, warm, and easy. But what most people don't realize is that comfort slowly robs you of your potential. When you stay in a comfortable place for too long, you stop growing. You stop testing yourself. You stop discovering what you are truly capable of. Growth only happens when you step beyond the boundaries of ease and willingly put yourself in situations that demand more from you than you thought you had to give. Think about it. Nothing truly valuable has ever been achieved by choosing the easy route. Athletes don't break records by training when it feels good. They push their bodies through exhaustion, pain, and repetition. Entrepreneurs don't build great businesses by playing it safe. They take risks, make sacrifices, and work when others sleep. Soldiers aren't made strong in times of peace and comfort. They are forged in the chaos and intensity of hardship. If life is always easy, you will never discover the strength that lies dormant within you. The danger of comfort is that it convinces you that you're doing enough. It tells you that you deserve to relax, that you've already worked hard, and that pushing more is unnecessary. But the truth is, every time you choose comfort over challenge, you reinforce weakness. The mind becomes soft, the body follows, and before you know it, you are living far below your true capacity. Comfort doesn't just slow you down, it keeps you from ever reaching the version of yourself that's waiting on the other side of struggle. When you choose to step out of your comfort zone, something powerful happens. You start building resilience. Every uncomfortable situation is a test, and each time you pass, you create a new standard for yourself. Suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes normal. That's how growth works. It stretches you, and once you've stretched, you can't shrink back to the same size. Doing the hard things may be painful in the moment, but that pain transforms into strength, confidence, and freedom. Choosing discomfort also sets you apart. Most people will always chase the easy path because it feels good in the short term. They avoid the workouts, the discipline, the hard conversations, or the extra hours of effort because comfort whispers to them that there's no need. But when you consistently choose the harder road, you gain an edge. You develop discipline, toughness, and persistence that others simply don't have. This makes you stand out in a world where mediocrity is the norm. The truth is simple: comfort kills growth. If you want to evolve, if you want to live a life of strength and fulfillment, you must stop seeking ease. Instead, lean into the things that challenge you, that scare you, that demand more than what you think you can give. Every time you push through discomfort, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of far more than you imagine. Comfort will offer you nothing but stagnation, but struggle will give you transformation. And in the end, it is always better to be shaped by difficulty than to be destroyed by ease. Hard things have a way of showing you who you really are. When life is easy, it's simple to feel confident, disciplined, and strong, but none of that is tested. True character is not revealed when everything is going your way. It's revealed when the odds are stacked against you, when you're tired, broken, and ready to quit. Hard things strip away the layers of comfort, the excuses you make, and the stories you tell yourself about what you can or cannot do. They leave you standing face to face with the truth. When you put yourself in a difficult situation, you no longer have space for lies. You can't hide behind talent, appearances, or clever words. Hardship exposes your real limits, your real fears, and your real resilience. For many people, this is uncomfortable because it reveals weaknesses they'd rather avoid. But the beauty of facing those hard truths is that once you see them, you can grow past them. You can confront your flaws and decide whether you'll let them control you or whether you'll rise above them. Think of a person who says they're disciplined. If they only act disciplined when it's convenient, their words mean nothing. But if they wake up before dawn to train, when no one is watching, if they hold themselves to a standard when it would be easier to quit, that's when the truth of their discipline is revealed. The same goes for courage, perseverance, and strength. None of these qualities can exist in theory. They only become real when tested by difficulty. Hard things also reveal your relationship with pain. Most people avoid it at all costs, treating pain as an enemy. But pain is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever have. It shows you where your limits are and gives you a chance to break through them. When you lean into pain instead of running away, you discover a deeper layer of yourself, one that doesn't just survive, but thrives in adversity. That's the version of you that hard things uncover. It's also important to recognize that the real you is not the one who talks about dreams and goals. It's the one who shows up when pursuing those dreams requires sacrifice. Everyone loves the idea of being great, but few are willing to endure the grind that greatness demands. When you take on challenges that push you to the edge, you separate yourself from the talkers. You step into the identity of someone who doesn't just dream but acts, endures, and conquers. The process of facing hard things is uncomfortable, sometimes brutal, but it is necessary. Without difficulty, you live in a version of yourself that is untested, unproven, and incomplete. But with every obstacle, every moment of resistance, every challenge you overcome, you peel back the surface and meet the raw, unfiltered version of who you truly are. And in that discovery lies your power. Discipline is not something that appears overnight, nor is it something that can be wished into existence. It is built piece by piece through struggle and difficulty. Every time you take on a hard task and see it through, even when you don't feel like it, you are laying another brick in the foundation of your discipline. That foundation becomes the structure that holds you steady when life inevitably gets messy, unpredictable, and painful. Doing easy things does not demand much from you, so it doesn't create discipline. Anyone can do what feels good in the moment. True discipline comes from doing what is necessary even when it hurts, even when you're tired, and even when every part of you wants to stop. It is the act of controlling your impulses and choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. And the only way to learn that control is by going through difficult situations that test your willpower again and again. Think about the moments when you wake up and don't want to get out of bed. The easy choice is to stay comfortable under the covers. The hard choice is to stand up, put on your shoes, and do the work you promised yourself you would do. If you choose the hard way, you strengthen your discipline. Over time, those small decisions compound. What started as a single hard choice becomes a habit, and that habit becomes part of your identity. You no longer question whether you'll do the work. You simply do it because that's who you are. Discipline is also built when you face failure and keep going. Quitting is always easier than continuing after a setback. But when you choose to rise after falling, you develop resilience. Each time you push forward through failure, you train yourself to see obstacles not as permanent roadblocks, but as temporary tests. That mindset, born from difficulty, is what turns discipline into a lifelong strength rather than a fragile habit. Another key truth is that discipline doesn't just affect one part of your life. It spreads into everything. If you build discipline in your workouts, you'll find it easier to stay focused at work. If you develop discipline in managing your time, you'll become stronger in managing your emotions. Doing hard things teaches you that discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows the more you use it. Without resistance, it weakens. With consistent effort, it becomes unstoppable. Discipline built through difficulty is not glamorous. No one is cheering you on in the early mornings or late nights when you're grinding alone. But those unseen hours are where the transformation happens. That's where the mental steel is forged. When others give up because it's too hard, you keep going because you've trained yourself to live in the uncomfortable space where growth happens. At its core, discipline is freedom. It frees you from being controlled by moods, laziness, and excuses. And the only way to gain that freedom is to consistently choose the hard path over the easy one. Every moment you resist comfort, every time you embrace the difficult road, you are not just completing a task, you are building a disciplined mind and body that will carry you through any challenge life throws at you. Mental toughness is not something you are born with. It is something that is built in the furnace of discomfort. Every time you face a situation that challenges you, that makes you want to quit, you are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to weakness, the other to strength. Choosing to embrace the discomfort instead of avoiding it is the path that develops mental toughness. It's not about how strong you are when things are easy. It's about how you respond when things get hard, painful, and seemingly unbearable. Discomfort is the training ground of the mind. When you willingly place yourself in situations that push your limits, you are teaching your mind to stay calm under pressure, to endure when everything inside you screams to stop. At first, it feels overwhelming. You want to escape, to retreat back into safety. But when you resist that urge and keep moving forward, your mind adapts. It learns that it can handle more than it thought. The next time you face discomfort, You are a little stronger, a little braver, a little tougher. Over time, this compounds into unshakable resilience. Mental toughness is also about controlling your inner dialogue. Discomfort triggers doubt, fear, and excuses. Your mind will tell you to quit, that it's too hard, that you've done enough. But toughness is built by ignoring those voices and replacing them with action. Instead of negotiating with yourself, you push forward anyway. The more you practice this, the less power those weak thoughts have over you. Eventually, your mind begins to expect challenge, and instead of running from it, it leans into it. Consider the difference between someone who avoids discomfort and someone who embraces it. The first person folds under stress, panics when things don't go their way, and crumbles when life hits hard. The second person has trained their mind to remain steady. They can endure long periods of pain, pressure, and struggle because they have rehearsed it. They know discomfort is not the end. It's simply part of the process. That mindset allows them to outlast and outperform others who may even be more talented but less resilient. Mental toughness doesn't just serve you in big moments, it influences your daily life. When you face small discomforts, waking up early, pushing through fatigue, saying no to distractions, you are sharpening your mind. Those little wins stack up, so when the big challenges come, you are already prepared. You've built a mind that doesn't flinch at pressure but thrives in it. The truth is, discomfort will always exist. You can't avoid it forever. Life will throw hardship at you whether you like it or not. The difference is whether you've trained your mind to break under pressure or to rise through it. By embracing discomfort instead of fearing it, you make yourself unshakable. And that's what mental toughness truly is. The ability to keep going when others stop, to hold your ground in the storm, and to find strength in the very place where weakness is exposed. Hard things don't all look the same. Some are physical, testing the limits of your body. Others are mental, stretching the endurance of your mind. Still others are emotional or spiritual, demanding courage in places that can't be measured by weights lifted or miles run. The truth is that life offers challenges in every form, and it's often the ones we don't expect that test us the most. Recognizing that hard things come in many shapes helps you prepare for all of them instead of only the ones you can see or anticipate. Physical challenges are the most obvious. They're the workouts that burn your muscles, the long hours of labor, the exhaustion that makes you question whether you can keep going. These challenges are visible. You can see the sweat, feel the strain, and measure progress with tangible results. But they are only one piece of the puzzle. Mental challenges can be just as demanding, sometimes even more so, because they happen silently inside your head. Sitting down to study when you're distracted, focusing deeply on a task when your mind wants to wander, or staying disciplined in the face of endless temptations. These are all mental struggles that strengthen your focus and resilience. Then there are the emotional battles. These often go unnoticed, but they can be some of the hardest to face. Having the courage to admit your mistakes, forgiving someone who hurt you, speaking up when it's easier to stay silent, or standing alone in your values when the crowd goes the other way. These require strength that doesn't come from muscles but from the heart. Emotional challenges are hard because they strike at your pride, your fears, and your vulnerabilities. But walking through them makes you more honest, more courageous, and more grounded in who you are. Spiritual challenges are perhaps the most subtle. They come when you question your purpose, your direction, or your beliefs. These aren't battles you can see, but they are deeply felt. Wrestling with meaning, deciding who you want to be, and committing to a higher standard for your life. These are struggles that shape your identity on the deepest level. They require patience, faith, and an openness to grow beyond what you thought you knew. What's important to realize is that growth doesn't only come from one type of difficulty. You may conquer physical challenges easily, but struggle with emotional ones. Or you may have mental discipline, yet find yourself questioning your purpose. Every type of hard thing is an opportunity to expand a different part of yourself. By facing all forms of difficulty, you become more complete, more balanced, and more resilient. Life will test you in every area sooner or later. You can't pick and choose which challenges appear. What you can do is prepare yourself by practicing in all arenas, strengthening your body, sharpening your mind, opening your heart, and grounding your spirit. The hard things may differ in form, but the lesson is the same: step into them, not away from them. because every type of difficulty you face makes you more capable of handling the next one, no matter what shape it takes. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that holds people back. It whispers in your ear, convincing you that the unknown is too dangerous, that failure is too painful, that rejection is too humiliating. Because of this, most people spend their lives avoiding fear instead of confronting it. But what they don't realize is that every time you run from fear, it grows larger. Every time you avoid the hard thing that scares you, you hand over more control of your life to that fear. The only way to weaken it is to face it head on. Doing hard things often means stepping directly into what frightens you. It could be fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of suffering, or even fear of success. No matter the form, fear thrives in the shadows. It grows strongest when left unchallenged. But when you walk toward it, when you shine the light of action on it, you discover that most of your fears are illusions. They are walls made of smoke designed to stop you without ever physically holding you back. Once you take the first step through them, you realize they can't actually stop you. Facing fear builds courage, and courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in spite of it. People often wait until they feel ready or until the fear goes away, but that day never comes. Readiness is built in motion. Confidence is built through exposure. The only way to learn bravery is to face the very things that make you tremble. Each time you confront fear and move forward, you reclaim a piece of your power. You prove to yourself that fear doesn't own you, that it doesn't get to dictate how far you go or who you become. The process isn't comfortable. Your heart will race, your mind will scream for safety, and doubt will fill your thoughts. But the moment you step into that space of fear, something changes. You realize that the story you told yourself about how unbearable it would be isn't true. Fear shrinks once you face it, and courage expands in its place. Over time, you begin to crave the moments that scare you because you understand that fear is a compass pointing directly toward growth. Think of the people you admire most. They didn't build their strength, success, or influence by avoiding fear. They built it by running straight at it. Speaking in front of a crowd, risking failure on a big dream, standing for something unpopular, or pushing their limits beyond what seemed possible. All of these acts required walking through fear. And each time they did, their courage grew stronger, their confidence deeper. If you want to transform your life, you cannot keep fear as your master. You must make it your teacher. Every time you feel it rise inside you, ask yourself what it's protecting you from. Then remind yourself that behind fear lies freedom. The door to your greatest achievements, your deepest growth, and your true self is always guarded by fear. The question is whether you'll turn away from it or whether you'll walk through it and claim the courage waiting on the other side. Self-trust is one of the most powerful forms of strength you can ever build, but it doesn't come from words, promises, or dreams. It comes from doing hard things and proving to yourself that you won't quit when the pressure is on. Every time you step into difficulty and refuse to back down, you send a message to yourself, I can rely on me. That trust becomes the foundation on which all other confidence is built. Most people think trust is about others, keeping promises to friends, family, or colleagues. While that matters, the most important promises you will ever keep are the ones you make to yourself. When you tell yourself you'll wake up early, push through a tough workout, stay disciplined on a project, or face a fear, and then you follow through, you strengthen the bond between you and your own word. On the other hand, when you consistently break promises to yourself, you weaken that bond. You begin to doubt your own reliability, and self-doubt is the enemy of progress. Doing hard things is the quickest way to build that inner reliability. Easy tasks don't test your resolve. They don't require you to wrestle with the voice inside your head that begs you to stop. But the hard things force you into that fight. They make you confront fatigue, resistance, and temptation. And when you win that fight, even in small ways, you grow more certain that you can trust yourself when it truly counts. That trust changes how you carry yourself in every area of life. When challenges come, and they always do, you won't hesitate as much because you already know you're capable of enduring. You've proven it in the trenches. You've seen yourself hold the line when others would fold. That proof creates an unshakable belief that no matter how hard it gets, you will not abandon yourself. Self-trust also frees you from needing external validation. When you know you can depend on your own strength, You stop relying on others to tell you that you're good enough, disciplined enough, or strong enough. You already know it because you've lived it. You've kept promises no one else saw, fought battles no one else noticed, and pushed through resistance when no one was watching. That kind of trust is private, personal, and powerful. It's not given, it's earned. And the truth is, life will test you in ways no one else can fully understand. You'll face moments where no one can step in to help. No one can carry the weight for you. No one can make the choice but you. In those moments, the only thing that will matter is whether you can trust yourself to do what's necessary. If you've built that trust through hard things, you'll step forward with certainty. If you haven't, you'll hesitate, doubt, and crumble. The beauty of self-trust is that it compounds. The more you prove to yourself that you'll keep going, the stronger the bond becomes. Eventually, you stop questioning whether you'll follow through. You just do. Because you've built an identity rooted in resilience and reliability. And all of that begins by facing hard things, choosing not to quit, and teaching yourself that when it matters most, you can count on you. Adversity has a way of separating people. When life is easy, everyone looks the same, confident, steady, and in control. But when the storm comes, when the weight feels unbearable, when the obstacles seem impossible, that's when the difference is revealed. Some people collapse under the pressure, while others rise above it. And the dividing line is simple. Those who embrace struggle become extraordinary, while those who avoid it remain ordinary. Hardship is the ultimate filter. It doesn't care about your background, your talent, or your excuses. It strips everything away and leaves only your will. This is why adversity is so powerful, because it shows who is willing to fight, who is willing to keep going when the comfort is gone. Talent might give someone an advantage at the start, but talent without resilience quickly fades. On the other hand, a person who embraces difficulty develops grit, and grit can outlast talent every single time. When you choose to face struggle head on, you are stepping into a space where most people refuse to go. That decision alone separates you. Most will chase comfort, shortcuts, and the path of least resistance. They'll quit when the grind gets too hard, when results don't come quickly, or when failure shows up. But if you choose to endure, to suffer through the slow, painful, relentless challenges, you become part of a rare group. A group of people who rise not because they had it easy, but because they refused to quit when it was hard. Adversity also builds perspective. It teaches you to value effort, patience, and resilience in ways that comfort never could. When you've walked through hardship, you don't take progress for granted. You understand what it means to struggle. So when success comes, it carries weight and meaning. That depth of character can only be built in difficulty. Easy lives may look pleasant from the outside, but they rarely create strong people. Strong people are forged through struggle, and that strength sets them apart. Extraordinary individuals are not those who never fall. They are those who rise every time they do. They understand that adversity is not the end, but the process. Every failure becomes a lesson, every setback a chance to rebuild stronger, every obstacle a sharpening stone. This relentless willingness to grow through hardship creates a resilience that ordinary people never develop, simply because they avoid the very experiences that could have made them stronger. What most don't realize is that the extraordinary aren't chosen, they are made. They're made in the hours of suffering no one else sees, in the quiet persistence that keeps going when everyone else quits, in the choice to face hardship instead of running from it. Adversity doesn't just test you, it shapes you. And if you let it, it will turn you into someone far beyond ordinary. So when life gets hard, don't see it as punishment. See it as opportunity to prove yourself, to grow, to separate yourself from the masses. Adversity is the dividing line. It will show whether you settle into mediocrity or rise into greatness. The choice is always yours. Most people spend their lives hoping things will get easier. They pray for lighter loads, fewer problems, and smoother paths. But life doesn't work that way. The weight of challenges will always be there, and often it grows heavier as you take on more responsibility. The truth is not to wish for less, but to become stronger, tougher, and more capable of carrying more. When you stop waiting for easy and instead focus on building yourself, you shift from being a victim of circumstance to being a master of it. Hard things will always exist. If you avoid them, they will still come. Just in different forms, often when you're least prepared. But when you choose to step into them on purpose, you train yourself to face life head on. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And instead say, I'm ready for this because I've been preparing for it. That mindset changes everything. Suddenly, obstacles are not disasters. They are opportunities to prove the strength you've built. This shift starts in small decisions. Every time you push yourself to do something uncomfortable, whether it's running when you're tired, working when you'd rather relax, or confronting a difficult truth, you're adding weight to the bar. And like lifting in the gym, that weight makes you stronger. The muscles of discipline, resilience, and perseverance grow only under resistance. Avoiding the weight might feel good in the short term, but it leaves you weak when life drops a heavy load on your shoulders. Think of two people. One avoids every hard thing, the other embraces them. The first person coasts through life until something unexpected knocks them down. They've built no strength to stand back up, so they crumble. The second person has been preparing all along. They sought discomfort, they leaned into difficulty, and when hardship comes, it doesn't break them. It reminds them of what they're capable of. The difference isn't in the challenges they face, but in the strength they've built to meet them. The trap of wishing for easy is that it creates dependence. You rely on circumstances to be favorable instead of relying on yourself to be resilient. But circumstances are never fully under your control. Life is unpredictable, often unfair, and always demanding. The one thing you can control is your preparation, how strong, disciplined, and tough you become. That preparation is built only by choosing hard things over and over until they become your normal. When you stop waiting for easy, you start growing without limits. You realize that the harder the challenge, the greater the opportunity for growth. The weight doesn't get lighter, but you get stronger, and soon you're carrying what once crushed you. This is how transformation happens, not by avoiding struggle, but by embracing it as the very thing that makes you powerful. So don't hope for a lighter burden. Hope for stronger shoulders. Don't wish for an easy path. Build the strength to walk the hard one. Because life will always test you, but if you've trained yourself through deliberate struggle, nothing can break you. Hard things are not barriers in your life, they are gateways. Every obstacle, every struggle, every painful challenge that stands in your way is not there to stop you, but to shape you. The problem is that most people see difficulty as a curse instead of a gift. They see resistance as punishment instead of preparation. But the truth is, everything you want, growth, confidence, freedom, fulfillment, sits on the other side of struggle. Hard things are not detours from your path. They are the path itself. When you embrace this perspective, everything changes. Instead of avoiding pain, you lean into it. Instead of complaining about the weight you carry, you use it to build strength. Instead of running from fear, you walk through it and discover your courage. This mindset is powerful because it frees you from waiting for perfect conditions. You stop hoping for an easy life and start building yourself into someone strong enough to face a hard one. Think about the times in your life when you grew the most. It wasn't during the easy days, the comfortable moments, or the times when everything went according to plan. It was when you were tested, when you struggled, when you were uncertain, when you had to fight for progress. Those moments are proof that difficulty is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. The extraordinary thing about doing hard things is that they don't just build skill or strength, they build identity. You become someone who no longer backs down, someone who refuses to quit, someone who knows how to stand tall in the storm. That identity becomes unshakable because it is forged in fire. And once you've built it, no one can take it from you. So the choice is simple. You can spend your life running from difficulty, clinging to comfort, and staying ordinary. Or you can decide today to embrace the hard things, to chase the struggle, and to walk the difficult path with intention. If you do, you will meet the strongest, most resilient, most powerful version of yourself. The version that was waiting all along behind the door of adversity. This is your reminder. Hard things are not obstacles, they are invitations. Invitations to grow, to evolve, to rise. Don't turn away from them. Don't resent them. Accept them, embrace them, and conquer them. Because in the end, your life will not be defined by how easy it was, but by how strong you became by facing what was hard. Ending speech. So step forward into the discomfort. Chase the challenges that scare you. Seek out the struggles that test you. Because on the other side of every hard thing lies a stronger, wiser, braver version of you. And that is the person you were always meant to be. Don't wait for the path to get easier. Make yourself stronger. Do the hard things and watch yourself transform.